Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Aura Vasquez, and thank you for joining my VTH, my virtual town hall meetings. Today, I have a very special guest, Elena Popp from the Evictions Defense Network, which is a wonderful organization that supports tenants and work with tenants all around the Southern California area and in California to help them answer their questions and to protect them in cases of evictions and now with COVID-19, with all of the uncertainty around how do some of us and some folks in our community can pay rent. So I'm streaming from Instagram. So hi, Instagrammers. If you have any questions, please go to the comment box, and next to it, there is a question mark. Place your questions there so that I don't lose them. If you are on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter, or on YouTube, you can answer your question at any time, and I'll make sure that I can show Elena your question and that we can help you the best we can. So with no further ado, let me introduce you all and help me welcome Elena Popp from the Eviction Defense Network. Hi, Elena. Welcome. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. This is our second hour together, so I'm kind of happy that we got the chance to spend so much time together. So I'm already getting some questions on the chat, and some other folks were messaging me if we were gonna come in. So for those that are just tuning in, this is a Q&A hour with our favorite tenants' right attorney, Elena Popp from the Evictions Defense Network. She has decades of experience working with tenants at no cost. So welcome everyone. Please share your questions on the question box, the question mark on Instagram or here. So really quickly, a rundown about what are the rights for tenants right now in Los Angeles, and like the ABCs and the very basic plan. I just walk us there while we go, and we'll wait for more questions from the public.
A landlord can file an eviction action, but the court won't give them the paper they need to move the case forward. Mm-hmm. And so you're safe for now, for 90 days, and for 90 days after the governor lifts the state of emergency. Number two, in LA, if you have a COVID-19 reason not to pay your rent, you can let your landlord know if you want. We recommend that you do, but it's not a requirement. You don't have to provide the evidence, but you can if you have it. And you'll have 12 months to pay the rent back. Those are the very, very basic rights. So,
okay, so we have 12 months to pay back our rent from the moment that they lift up the emergency. No evictions whatsoever. So it doesn't matter what color the eviction is or how big it is in your door. Nobody's gonna kick you out of your home.
It would be illegal for somebody to kick you out of your home. So it is happening. Landlords are illegally kicking people out. We're having to get the police to intervene, but it is illegal right now for a landlord to kick someone out.
Okay, so if and earlier I spoke to this about this in our session in Spanish. So if I lost my job for whatever reason, COVID-19 at this moment, what do I need to do? What's the first step that I need to do? What's the first thing that I need to do?
I think it's the polite thing to do to let your landlord know. And we have an information packet that Aura's going to put on her website. The last 2 pages are letters, sample letters that you can use. One of them is gentle, the other one is tough. Pick the one that best suits the tone for your situation. And let the landlord know. But don't let the landlord harass you. Don't let the landlord insist on private information like bank statements. Don't let the landlord come knocking on your door 3 times a day. Ignore all of that bad behavior. And, you know, it's hard not to be stressed out, but try not to be stressed out.
Okay.
Stress is bad for you.
in general, of course, and especially now. So if my landlord, so if I call my landlord and I said I can't pay the rent, and he's asking me for statements for like he's asking me for 3 months statements, or maybe the my my bank account, or even the taxes, what
Savings account. Yeah, you don't have to
what
give
do I
any.
do if he send me a letter saying I need to provide him with these things?
You send back a letter or a text or an email that says, I have complied with the law. And that's it.
Got it.
And then ignore. People need to learn to ignore. Yeah. You need to learn to ignore and not let it stress you out.
Okay, excellent. And what happens if I do? What happens if I'm like, you know what, my landlord is so great. He's awesome. He never gave me any problems. He's been wonderful. And he's just asking me for this, and I don't have the money in the bank anyways. Like, I can show him. What happens if I do?
If you want to give them information, you can give them that information.
Mm-hmm.
It's entirely up to you.
But how can that benefit me or put me in a precarious situation in the future?
Well, if you give your landlord your bank statements and they don't show that you have a ton of money in it, how is it going to prejudice you? It really isn't. You should block out the account number, although they probably already have it from your checks.
Mm-hmm.
We usually block out the account number when we file bank statements in court, because courts are public records and we don't want your bank statements floating everywhere. But otherwise, I think it's just a question of using your own best judgment about how much you want your landlord to know about your spending habits.
Mm-hmm.
Block out anything else that's irrelevant. If you have the charges for the porn sites that you're on, you should probably block those out too.
If he can see that you're spending on Netflix and not on rent. So
yeah. Although people have a right to spend on Netflix and not on rent, right?
Yeah,
you have a right to have basics, and TV and communication is part of basics.
Yeah, so legally we do not have to show them anything by law.
So the first thing I want to know is where Danielle lives, because it depends on the city you live in. If you live in the city of Los Angeles,
I think this is in the city of Los Angeles. I've been asking people to tell me if you have questions. Just ask your question.
In the city of Los Angeles, you do not need to show any proof at all until you go to court.
Okay. So you do not, just to be clear, you do not legally in the city of Los Angeles have to show your bank statement from your checking or savings, or your tax returns, or anything else.
The city law does not require any proof at all. My advice is, if you have it and it's easy and it's not an invasion of your privacy, like a letter from your employer or your documents from EDD, then by all means provide them. But if the landlord's asking you for your bank statements for 6 months, I had a landlord ask for 9 months of bank statements because they wanted to make sure that they didn't have any money. Like, there's just no way that none of that is required. Do not provide it.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So if you can maybe lower a little bit the volume on your phone, I think some folks are letting us know that there's a little feedback or a little echo or something like that. But I have another question. So if you guys have questions for my Instagrammers, please go to the comment box next to it. There is a question mark. Just ask away there. If you are everywhere else, you can just ask normally on the comment box, and we will get to your question. Somebody's asking if she can show. I'm assuming it's to you. Can I show her? I think your internet connection is a little weak, Elena, because we lost you. We lost you here on the stream. So let's figure that out. So how can I show her the letter I was sent and get her opinion on it? Are you talking to Elena, Danielle? Is that what you're saying? I'm not, I'm put all the pieces together, guys, in one packet and ask the question, because I'm trying to Okay, so yes. So in a minute when Elena comes back, I think we lost her on the StreamYard, on the live stream on Facebook. We lost you because her internet connection is a little weak. But however, Danielle, for your question, I just want to give you this. Write this down. There is an email where you can email Elena, and for any of you guys. And in other places looking, email info@edn.la. And that again is info@edn.la. That's where you can email Elena, and you can email other attorneys that can help you with your case, with your specific case. If you have a letter that the attorney sent you and such. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and place them on the comments. If you guys have questions, we have Elena back. There you go. She is back, and we have a bunch of questions. Oh, there you go. We have you back. Welcome back. And we have a few questions that folks have been asking. So let's see. Okay. Conflict of information, as well as the doc I was sent by my landlord today. Let me know what's the best place to share this. Okay, so we need concrete questions, girl. You can do it. Just ask the question. I'm not sure what conflict of information. Just ask away. I'm gonna take. If you have questions on Instagram, go on the comment box. Right next to the comment box, there is a symbol of question. Just go in there because I don't want to lose your questions, and I'm getting a lot of energy over here. So I believe Danielle Monley sent you a letter today. Guys, it will be helpful if you can ask a general question so that we can all learn in the chat and folks that are watching. So I might lose your questions if you don't post them on the question bar next to the comment bar and on Instagram. So here, I have a question. So, hi, is it true that tenants cannot be evicted if they have animals that we are caring for during COVID-19?
In the city of Los Angeles and also in the county of Los Angeles.
I completely lost your sound now. Hold on. Okay, go ahead, Elena.
In the city of Los Angeles and in the county of Los Angeles, a special law was passed that you cannot be evicted for having an unauthorized occupant or an unauthorized pet during the COVID-19 crisis, even if those are a violation of your lease. So, people need to be careful and not violate their leases. But during this time, you cannot be evicted for having an extra person or extra people, even unauthorized occupants or unauthorized animals.
Okay, perfect. So guys, if you have questions for Elena that are related to tenants' rights specifically right now, please put them in the comments. Otherwise, I would lose your question. I see that, Michael, I'm not understanding your question. Can you just put all your commentary in a question box?
Michael had a breach of warranty of habitability issue for a long time and nobody took care of it. And I imagine that he wants to be compensated in some way because he smelled gas for a really, really long time. And Michael probably needs to talk to an attorney like Eric Castelbanco, who was on your show before, that specializes in suing landlords for not taking care of problems with the apartment. So that would be my suggestion to Michael, except that if no one is hurt and no one is maimed, most lawyers are not interested in taking the case because then where's the damage? But you need to talk to a personal injury attorney or an attorney that handles slum condition cases.
Okay, amazing. And for those of you that are watching on Instagram or on Facebook or on Twitter, Twitch, all of it, just type your questions on the comments and we can get you your answers around any of the tenants' rights. Okay, somebody's saying hello to you too. If you guys have any questions, I know that all of you are reporting back to a group. So I'm wondering if your group has a lot of questions around tenants that Elena can answer right now. One question that I have is for folks that, and I've been trying to work on getting somebody from the Department of Water and Power in my show, guys. So stay tuned. But before today, I got a question around, well, my landlord pays for the water and we couldn't pay the rent and he said he's not going to pay. He's going to ask DWP to cut the water. Can they do that?
They cannot legally do that. Mm-hmm. So when we ask the question, can they do that? Of course they can do it. Is it a violation of the law? It is a violation of the law. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for the landlord to cut off the water because the mayor and almost every jurisdiction has forbidden water, electricity, or gas to be cut off due to non-payment. So the landlord doesn't have to pay the bill right now. Mm-hmm. And if the landlord cuts off the water, that's a violation of Penal Code Section 418. And that person should send an email to askanattorney@edn.la with their name, their address, and the subject line needs to be utility termination. We make those a higher priority. We're about 9 days behind answering people, but we are making those kinds of cases higher priorities.
Got it. So basically, nobody should be getting their services cut off for any reason, even if they cannot pay for them.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, and I have been trying to get to the bottom line because DWP has been sending some emails as well saying that they'll work with you and nobody's gonna be cut off. But then I have heard, and I think last time you and I were on the conversation also, people asked that question. That the landlord was going to.
It's not that DWP is cutting it off. It's that the landlord is asking DWP to cut it off.
Yeah.
So, like, people are moving during this time. If somebody is moving and they go to DWP and they say, please turn off the service, DWP is going to turn off the service, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like they ask the landlord, and maybe we should pass a law that says, there's a brilliant idea, something to take to the city council. We're getting utility termination cases. Please ask DWP to ask the person who's asking the utilities, is this going to affect someone who's still living in the unit, and ask them not to turn them off just because the landlord asks them to turn it off.
Okay, perfect. That's good. That's good to know. So in terms, now that we're talking about the city council, do we have any inclinations that the city council are going to do a rent cancellation anytime soon?
I don't think it's going to come from the city council. Mm-hmm. They don't think they have the power. I think it's either going to come from the governor or from the federal government. There are two bills right now, the Omar bill and the Waters bill. Mm-hmm. So we need to take the best out of both of those bills, and both of them need a little bit of help, a little bit of improvement. And hopefully the federal government will get us rent cancellation and mortgage relief of some sort.
Yeah, and I know that the Omar bill is a federal state. Omar Leanne, who is a congresswoman, and I want to say from Minnesota. Don't quote me on it, but she's a congresswoman, and she puts this forward. Are there any state bills? Somebody's asking on Instagram if there are any.
Not that I'm aware of. No,
not right now. Well, I think that also the state folks just started to meet. Maybe today, I think, was the first day that they were able to meet.
I got a lot of action today on my email from state stuff. So they must have gone back into session today.
Yeah, I believe they were back into session. So basically, at the local level, we believe that we're not able because of legalities. And I just want to remind people that Los Angeles has been multiple times have been sued because they say that they don't have the authority, and then we find out that they do, and they just haven't done it. Especially,
we're not saying that they don't have the authority. The city council believes very firmly that they don't have the authority, and none of the council members are bringing a rent cancellation bill forward. But one of the things that would be very, very good is if we got what's called vacancy control. Mm-hmm. When there's rent control in a unit, the tenant, once you move in, it can only go up a certain percentage a year, depending on where you live. And that's good. But when you move out, the landlord can raise the rent to whatever the landlord wants. So if we could get vacancy control, meaning when you move out, the next person steps right into your shoes, what you were paying, has the same rights you have. What does that do? It takes the incentive to kick tenants out because the landlord won't be making any more money off that unit if they kick you out. So we're fighting for this vacancy control. And in fact, everybody should do the hashtag right now. Hashtag cancel rent, hashtag cancel mortgages, hashtag vacancy control, hashtag right to counsel. Those are the 4 things that we need to stop the tsunami of evictions that's going to come when the state of emergency lifts. So hashtag
I'm using a couple of the hashtags. So I have hashtag cancel rent, hashtag cancel mortgages, hashtag
vacancy control,
and
hashtag right to counsel.
Got it.
Those are the 4 things that we need right now to stop the mass displacement that will happen if when the state of emergency lifts.
Of course. And so let's talk a little bit about, for those that are watching, about the advocacy efforts for some groups that you belong to, including EDN, and how people can get involved here. Maybe some of us might not have an issue with our landlord. Maybe our landlord was great, and it was awesome. But how can we support the broader movement? Because I'm really afraid that at the end of this pandemic, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to repay their rent. And this is going to increase actually the regular rent by 25%. And this is just going to take it's going to send a lot of people to the streets. We're going to see a lot more homelessness, in my opinion. So
Here.
What are the advocacy efforts happening right now at the local level and at the national level, at all levels, that are protecting people that maybe don't own homes yet? Or even more, in people that own homes too, the mortgages folks, which is part of the Healthy LA Coalition.
So that's exactly it. If you want to get involved at the local level, advocacy with the city and the county, it's healthyla.org. Healthyla.org. It's a very broad coalition. I think there's 300 member organizations now, and you can just enroll as an individual, and basically you can get on a committee. There's lots of committees, and the website explains it. Or you can just respond to the action alerts. Call your city council today and say X, and then you do that, and then we win whatever it is that we're fighting for on that particular day.
Yeah.
If you want to get involved in the advocacy at the state level, I would join the Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment. Or if you're a member of an organization, you can join Housing Now with an exclamation mark. Housing Now.
Okay, hold on a second, because I'm giving everybody everything. So we have the Alliance of Californians, or of Californians for Community Empowerment. Yeah, right?
ACCE. And then Housing Now with an exclamation mark. And if you want to get involved at the federal level, it's Ground Game LA is running the campaign to support the Omar bill. Ground Game LA.
That's right. And that is also the oh God, I'm forgetting now, the
mutual aid group.
Right. And that is also, I know about the God, never mind. It will come to me and I'll let you guys know. But there's another campaign like Forward LA. Also, they've been working a lot around the national, the Omar bill with the homes guarantee. That's it. Homes guarantee have been really active. But guys, I think I'm just gonna have to put all these links and all this stuff in my website so you guys can can take a look. So, okay, so that's and then also, of course, we have the tenants' rights, the tenants' unions.
So the LA Tenants Union has chapters all over the city. So join the LA Tenants Union. And ACE also has chapters.
ACE is beautiful.
And ACE is a great group too.
Yes, that is a really beautiful organization. So if I need resources, like, okay, I lost my job, or I can't pay my rent, and I want to write a letter to my landlord, what are some of the elements of this letter that I need? What are some of the legally what I need to tell him, and what I should be telling him, and what should I avoid?
Legally, first of all, in LA, you don't even have to send the letter. So you can just say, lost my job, can't pay the rent in a text, and it's good enough.
Okay.
But if you want to write a letter, there's a tenants survival guide that we've put together, and pages 21 and 22 are sample letters. And they say, I have had a loss of income, or I've had an increase in expenses due to COVID-19. I will not be able to pay my rent. And that gives you the options of providing the evidence, and it gives you the kind of evidence that we think is appropriate. And you could also, it's an option of saying, I'm not going to provide you the evidence right now if you don't want to provide it right now. And one of them is harsher. It says, you better not mess with me because the law is the law. And the other one is gentler. So you can choose which route you want to go with your landlord. And I just suggest that people, that they're going to be on your website. So pull up the survival guide, read it. We try to make it very easy, very digestible. On page 8 are resources for workers' rights, immigrants' rights, and government benefits, links. It links to a statewide organization called Tenants Together. They have a guide, how to survive. So they have a guide that goes everywhere from all of the laws to where you can get online Zoom yoga, right? So, so there's lots of resources in it. Spend some time looking at it and clicking on all the links and seeing where those links take you. I chuckle about the online yoga, but the truth is I spent the first month of this being angry, cranky, able to perform for these, but otherwise I was horrible to be around. And then I just woke up on Sunday morning. I said, why am I being this way, right? We're going to be in this for a long time. You can't be miserable about it. A lot of it was anxiety, like what's going to happen? What's going to happen to all my tenants? What's going to happen to all the people that I help? Are we going to be able to I'm more relaxed because we've gotten enough protections to give us a little bit of a reprieve, a little bit of people are safe for now, and gives us time to fight for more. But we have to have a good attitude. Or like it takes as much energy to have a bad attitude and be bitchy as it does to have a good attitude. So
and to worry sometimes, when you worry about, I can't pay my rent, my landlord is harassing me, or I don't know what to do, it just doesn't help you see things clearly and act in the best way possible. So I want to just answer this question of someone that is asking on Instagram. Is it true you should not sign any paperwork that your landlord sends back to you?
Yes.
After you send, the only thing that should be signed is your intent to delay your rent due to COVID hardship.
Yes. Okay. There's no reason to sign anything. There's no requirement that you sign anything. We're going to do an ad campaign, and we're thinking that the theme of it is going to be health first, food first. Don't sign, don't settle, don't move. Don't sign, don't settle, don't move. Don't sign because there's no obligation to. You need to have anything you sign reviewed by a lawyer. There's no way we're going to be able to review everything that everyone needs. So don't sign. Don't settle because it's premature.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Even if you have a job today, you may not have one tomorrow. I had a client who got laid off. Landlord talked her into a payment plan. because she got her job again, and so the landlord talked her into a payment plan, but then she got laid off again. So now she can't make the payments on the payment plan. So don't sign, don't settle, don't move. Ask an attorney at edn.la and we'll look at all your stuff.
That's a great campaign. Someone is asking if there is any precedence for this situation, or are we new waters and new laws need to be signed? So I'm guessing
we are signing new laws. New laws. That little survival guide that I put together, at the minute I print it, it's obsolete. The law changes somewhere.
Right.
So we are getting new laws, but our government has what is called emergency powers. And emergency powers allow them to do the kinds of things they're doing, like ordering that the lights and the water and the gas stays on, even if you don't pay. Like ordering that you don't have to pay the rent for 12 months. Like canceling the rent. Like canceling the mortgages. Like issuing an order that nobody can be evicted during this time of crisis and for 90 days after this time of crisis. Those are all things that they can do with their emergency powers, and that they are doing with their emergency powers. A little at a time, though, I have to say. Like, I was in a meeting today where it's like, okay, we had this list of 50 things we needed. What have we accomplished? What are we going to ask for next? What have we gone to ask for? And they said no, but maybe it's time to ask again, right?
Yeah.
And so we keep going back to our electeds. Every day we go to our electeds and ask them to tweak and fix and address new problems that come up.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there are some districts in Los Angeles, at least in the city of Los Angeles, where there are more renters than homeowners. And I have been really trying to make the distinction that this isn't the renters against the homeowners or the homeowners against the renters. Hey, there are people that own their home, like my landlord. He owns this home and he rents, a piece to me, and I try to be honorable to that. He's not a big, developer, and I don't live in a big complex, I live in a home. So this isn't about one against the other. We need rent cancellations and we need mortgage cancellations in order for this to work.
That's right.
And part of those laws need to reflect that. We are in a moment that is extreme, not in my generation, in anyone that is living a pandemic. I seriously thought that this stuff were science fiction until it's happening to us right now. Yeah. When I first learned about COVID-19, I thought it was like, oh, the common cold, like the flu has killed more people. Come on. Like, I just didn't even personally, in my own ignorance at that moment, didn't even believe that this could happen. So, I know that there are a lot of folks here that it's uncertain. It's a very uncertain moment. I'm grateful that we can count on people like you, that we can ask questions. And for those, Lisa, I know please ask your question here. This is not, help the broader community understand what your issue is, that it could be the same issue that somebody else has somewhere else. And we have opened this kind of line of communication with the Evictions Defense Network so that people can ask questions, because Elena gets, how many requests for support did you get on a regular basis, on a day?
We're averaging 27 a day. Today was a very, very blessed day. There were only 15.
Okay, so
when I got to the last one, so what I'm kind of trying to do is we're answering the new ones and then trying to catch up on the old ones, because I find that when you wait too long, then people then start emailing you again and again and again, and then it all gets un enredo, very confusing. So we're trying to stay caught up with the new ones, and there were only 15 today.
Yeah. So if you have a question that you have been emailing Elena, please feel free to ask it here. You have the the opportunity to ask her and ask. I know, Lisa, you were in our last conversation too, so I can't remember what your questions were, but I hope that things have gotten a little more solid for you. Let's talk a little bit about the folks, and I have lots of friends that are artists, that are people in the gig economy, and some of them it's hard for them to prove, like, even loss of income, but because for a lot of them it's hard to prove just even regular income and in general. So have you seen a lot of folks in the gig economy struggling with rent, or maybe getting served evictions or so?
No. So served evictions, no. Served 3-day notices, yes.
What's the difference, Elena, between a 3-day notice and an eviction?
So the 3-day notice is the first step in an eviction process, but that's just between you and the landlord. If you don't pay within the 3 days, then they go to court and they file a complaint. I have a complaint. My tenant didn't pay the rent. And then the court gives them something called a summons. And that's what gives the court power over you. That's the part that they can't get right now. They can file the complaint, but they're not going to get the summons. So the case won't move forward. And if the case can't move forward, then the sheriff will never get an order to lock you out. So it's all of that is on hold for 90 days. And then in 90 days, they can get the summons. They can give it to you. You answer, put your defenses before the court. You hire a good lawyer. And hopefully everything works out because we settle it or we win.
Beautiful. So okay, so here is a question. It's around evictions. So apparently they came, so I'm assuming, Lisa, are you in LA? And I'm assuming they is the landlord, I'm assuming, with papers to evict us, and the cops say they can evict us, but they hire someone to harass us. It's bad. It's much more than we thought. We had to change the electricity to our name to stay on. So so when this happens, when you have a landlord that is hostile, I would call this hostile, what are your rights, and what should you do?
So this is the rub, right? So it's illegal to kill people, but people kill people all the time, right? It's illegal to steal, and people steal all the time. Everything that Lisa Marie Collins says landlord is doing is illegal. But that landlord is going to keep doing it until somebody convinces that landlord that the cost of doing it is greater than the benefit that he's getting out of doing it. And so I, for instance, and the problem is there aren't enough lawyers, but lawyers are coming out of the woodwork to handle these cases. And so we will deal with that. But probably in the form of a lawsuit against that landlord when the crisis is over for damages. And that might not feel right to Lisa Marie right now, but her landlord's behavior is not controllable right now. And what is going to happen is he's going to have to pay for his bad behavior later. A couple of years ago, a landlord evicted an elderly woman by getting a restraining order from the court when they shouldn't have gotten it. And then they locked her out. The restraining order did not say she should be locked out, and they locked her out using the restraining order as an excuse. So it was a bogus restraining order, and they used it to lock her out. She was locked out in the heat for 5 hours. A couple of years later, we settled that case for $250,000. Okay? So landlords need to beware, because they don't want to meet me or my colleague Sean Chandra, who got that settlement, in court after this crisis. And if you think that it was, we are getting lots of like, man, that's messed up during the jurors will be very sympathetic to tenants that suffer through a lockout during this time.
Yeah, and so I mean, Lisa's asking. Of course, she's in need of a lawyer, but I mean, it's only you, and you're attending to 23 cases a day, which I find it impossible. I can't believe you even do that. Humanly possible. So what can she do? How can she respond at the moment apparently the landlord has hired someone to harass them to make sure that they leave. And actually, I have heard this in more affluent neighborhoods of Los Angeles, where there have been some friends that have already mentioned like he's just harassing, and these are not. This is in a much more affluent area of Los Angeles, at least in my example that I know of. Yeah. So how can she respond right now? What can she do in terms of these folks that are basically hired by the landlord to harass her so that they can...
You can join a tenants union, and the tenants union can help her develop a plan for putting a stop to that harassment. Mm-hmm. There's nothing we can do legally. The courts are closed, and so she could get a restraining order against these people, but it's very hard to get a restraining order right now.
Because the courts are closed.
But you can, they're not actually closed. People go into the courthouse every day, but you can only go in for certain emergency things, including restraining orders. Mm-hmm. So we keep saying the courts are closed because they're closed to most things, but not to restraining orders. So you can try to get a restraining order. You can videotape what these people are doing. You can ignore them. I mean, those are the options.
Yeah.
I don't have a magic pill. I don't have a magic wand. I can't just make it go away. So the options are call the police, videotape what they're doing, sue them afterwards.
Right, because even, look, I'm assuming if I'm Lisa, and even if I call you and you said, okay, I'm going to represent you, it's not like you can make it go away because you also have to go through a proceeding.
Right.
So unfortunately, you just have to kind of keep making your case, taking pictures, taking video, making sure that if they send you an email, you save it, you don't answer crazy things back.
That's a good one, because believe me, the cops may not arrest the landlord for harassing you, but they will arrest you for responding back. And we've had a couple of cases where a woman, the landlord came every single day between April 28th and like May something. And supposedly he was yelling at her through a screen door, and supposedly she threw water at him, and the police nearly arrested her for it. So do not
engage.
Do not get angry. Do not make threats. Do not assault. Do not throw water at your landlord.
Yeah, even if they're aggressive towards you. Right. So before we end our evening of Q&A with you, where can folks find information about the letter, about maybe contacting you, or so, like how can people find more information?
Okay. So you've been running across the street to get a copy of the letter and the packet. It's info@edn.la. After reading it, you can, if you still have questions, you can send an email to askanattorney@edn.la. So
yeah, and it's also in the bottom here. If you guys see the banner going through, is that information.
Info@edn.la to get the packet of information, review it, and if you still have questions, askanattorney@edn.la. Please expect about a 10-day delay to get an answer. And if you put your name, your address, and why you're emailing on the subject line, it helps us to prioritize.
And in terms
but please don't put 911, it's an emergency, I'm getting evicted, and you got a 3-day notice, okay?
Right.
Because that's not fair to the person who truly is being evicted, who's being thrown out right now.
Right. And then there is a broader community on Facebook that you can all be part of, and people, I have heard that they're very helpful.
Yeah, they are.
And
you mean my group, the Facebook group?
Yeah.
So it's COVID-19 Tenants Rights, COVID-19 Tenants Rights, hashtag on every fridge. The hashtag on every fridge is honoring the fact that we don't all have computers. And so we also want to get this information, hashtag on every refrigerator in LA County, so that people that still have digital divide issues will have access to it as well. So, and that they have been really great. When I get really busy, they answer questions and There's a core group that really gets it now, refers people to the right information. And then once a day, I go through and check to make sure nobody was made a mistake. So it's a good place to get information and support.
Okay, beautiful. So I think we're on top of the hour. Thank you so much, Elena. Wow, this was a real marathon today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Meet Rich. This is my honey, Rich.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for allowing us to pick her brain for 2 hours just now.
Oh, you know what? It's really important that happens, that people understand they just need to be really brave and take action and follow through with what's happening.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you so much. So, for folks that are watching and that found this information helpful, please share it with your networks and support the work of EDN by making a donation, coming to volunteer. Elena is helping so many people right now, and we need more resources so that we can have more lawyers helping other people.
Yes, we do. Well, there are other people on my staff. 4 lawyers on my staff. 3 lawyers and a non-lawyer are volunteering full time. They were laid off and they still kept working. So,
thank you, Elena, so much, and we'll see you next time. We'll bring you back sometime soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this incredible marathon. If you like what you saw, please share it with a friend. Let other people know that can benefit from the information that we shared today. You can also find more about the mutual aid that I have founded at auda2020.com/get involved. And it's right here on the stage. For everyone that took their time to ask your questions and to help the broader community, thank you so much. And if you find this information helpful, please share it with a friend. Send it around. Post it in your social media. You never know who is going to be benefited from the information that you're receiving today. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and we'll see each other in another live stream very soon. Bye.